let's talk today about an acceleration of inflation. Let's talk about certain necessities that you are going to need to buy that are going to, here, I'll give you something to look at. We'll turn the camera this way. Oh, look, I'm waiting to go pick up some boots for a coworker. Anyway, who cares about that? We're going to talk about necessities this year that you need to think about this next year that are going to accelerate in price. So if you prepare for it now, I know it sucks, quite frankly. The prices are going up and they're going to keep going up for the short term. And when I say short term, I'm talking about the next year and a half before we see total deflation as we're going down and down and down. But that's good news. So let's prepare for it now. All right, I've got two stories. Stick around for the second story because it's about healthcare, okay? But we're going to run a little bit more into this CPI. This story is out of Wall Street. It's entitled "The Acceleration of Inflation in the Second Half Has Begun. Disinflation, quote unquote, honeymoon is terminated." Now, it's not terminated in everything, but disinflation, the hopes, the dreams of so many Americans that voted for Biden, now at least they're reconsidering that vote, they are being shattered. Fuel is only getting more expensive under this current administration. Living costs, housing costs, electricity, everything's going up, right? Except for, well, flat screen TVs. Pretty much this. Everything you need to live on is going up in value. Everything that you don't need to live off of or live with is going down in value. So remember that, okay? It's very important that you remember that as things go up. That's why we prepare for this. Month to month, CPI spikes, core CPI and core services CPI accelerate despite ongoing massive health insurance adjustment. We're going to get into that health insurance in a little bit. Obviously, you guys know from yesterday, Type 1, if you saw the video, I was talking about the CPI jumped by 0.63% in August from July. That's the biggest month-on-month increase since June of 2022. Annualized, this amounts to a red-hot 7.8%. Yes! Why do I care about that? I want the Fed to keep raising rates. I know a lot of you go like, why would you say that? It's because the hotter the rates get, the bigger the crash gets on the other side, okay? And Type 2, if you know what I'm talking about, it's a big deal, and you want to capitalize on this. I don't want the banks capitalizing. I want you to capitalize on this. All right, here we go. Now, this jump comes despite the still ongoing ridiculous monthly adjustment to the health insurance CPI that caused it to collapse by 33.6% year over year. Now, I know there's a lot of issues with healthcare. As a matter of fact, in 2022 was the number one cut of jobs, and there were less jobs available, right? It's gonna get a little hot in here. I'm gonna lie. Gotta open up some doors. Holy cow, the Ninja's hot. Stand by. Let's try and turn down the stereo so I don't get hit on some kind of... Let's turn that down. Ninja's live. Ninja's also really hot. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm going to explain what's going on in healthcare, and you need to be ready for what's about to happen in 2024. It's a big deal, so don't get confused by this drop in healthcare. All right, it says right here, the September CPI to be released in October will be the last month that with that adjustment. With this October CPI to be released in November, it will flip, which will add upward momentum to the CPI readings. Okay, that's what I'm referring to. What you're seeing right now in healthcare cost dropping, this is an illusion, and you are going to see something happen in 2024. I want you to be prepared for higher premiums. I know that information sucks, but if you're ready for it, I want you to understand this. 99% of the population is not ready for it, and it is going to cause default waves in vehicles, in homes, everything. So just get ready for this, all right? I want you to take advantage of this. This is not the bank's time. This is your time. All right, so it says here, core CPI, which attempts to track underlying inflation by excluding the volatile, you mean going straight up, food and energy products. It still rose by a hot 4.3% in August compared to a year ago, okay? Do me a favor. Type below your best guess of what real inflation is right now if you were to use the same metrics, let's say, in 1980. And if you want a really neat way to cheat on that, go to John Williams' website's Shadow Stats. It's a great website. He shows you what real true inflation is if it was measured by the older metrics, okay, that economists used to use, all right? So core CPI month to month was held down by the collapse of the health insurance CPI, okay? This is an illusion. And yet it still accelerated 0.28% in August from July. All right, so let's dive a little bit more. Fuel prices pushed it up. I just paid $6.19 a gallon. Right now, month over month, gasoline 10.6%. Year over year, it's showing a negative 3.3, but I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Natural gas is up 0.1%. Electricity service is up 0.2% month over month. So those are having issues, right? So let's get on to this health insurance. So it says here, health insurance CPI as a price index itself in August collapsed to the price level of November 2018, despite massive health insurance increases since then. This is why I've been so furious about this metric from day one. Renders core CPI and even more core services CPI essentially useless as an indicator of where... Why am I missing? Come on, Ninja, get it together. Of where inflation should really be. I'm just going to sum it up. So it says core services CPI accelerated despite the collapse in healthcare. Let's do this. Let's just go to the next story because it's going to be easier for me to explain this. Come on now. Come on, this is a big story. Holy cow, there's a lot of great information. Let's go past it. Just joking. This is from money.com. Health insurance premiums are set to surge in 2024. It says health insurance through your workplace could be much more expensive next year. Can you only imagine what's about to happen to people that have to pay for their own out of pocket? My heart goes out to you. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is the main reason why I'm still a firefighter. Okay, this is why I have not left my job early, because if I leave anytime in the next 3 years, I lose everything, except for I start to get a small check at age 57. And there's so many people like, why haven't you quit? Why haven't you quit? I'm like, this is what we've been getting ready for. It says the costs for employer-sponsored health plans in 2024 are expected to jump over 6%, according to new data from consulting firms Mercer and Willis Towers Watson. As the Wall Street Journal first reported, that would amount to the largest price increase for employer health plans in about a decade. Mercer survey released Thursday found that health plan costs could jump by 6.6%. That's an interesting number, 6.6. You just might as well add another 6 to it. Next year, because I'm going to be honest with you, I believe that insurance is from the devil. I know it sounds crazy, but this is from a testimony of somebody that worked really high up in the insurance industry. As a matter of fact, you probably heard that testimony, Rick Wiles from True News. You might want to check that out. Anyway, it said here it could jump by 6.6% next year, assuming employers have made no cost-cutting changes to their current plans. And even if they do take steps to cut costs, the increase is expected to be 5.4% on average. Similarly, in preliminary survey results shared with Money, WTW found, that's all right, WTW is the news outlet, found the health insurance costs are expected to rise between 6% and 6.4%. Look at this. You've got the government, federal government coming out and saying what? They're going to give the DOD employees an increase of what, 5.2%? That won't even keep up with inflation. Yet, ironically, sadly enough, that's the largest pay raise. If any of you guys work for the DOD, let me know down below. I'm pretty sure that's like the highest pay raise you've seen in 12 years, 13 years. Even more than that, I think. Anyway, I digress. It doesn't keep up. Right? And the DOD is the largest employer, I believe, in the world. According to Mercer, typical annual price increases have hovered between 3 and 4% for more than a decade, making next year's estimated hikes particularly steep. It says, as workers head into open enrollment season for signups in 2024 health plans, they may be in for some sticker shock. Perhaps surprisingly, private health insurance is one area where inflation has largely yet to reach. In fact, the latest inflation reading from the Labor Department shows health insurance costs in a notable period of deflation, meaning that prices are going down. I have to stop right now. I got an email that's a little troubling and I'm waiting for more information. This is somebody that works inside or has a very close friend that works inside of one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the country. They said that they are telling their employees that they are not going to be providing nearly as much now think about this, cold remedy medicines this next year. And I believe that to be sort of a conspiracy. I want to find out more information. If you work for a pharmaceutical company and you want your information hidden, but I still have to vet who you are and what you do, let me know. You guys know the email. Come check me out, because if that's the case, I want to warn people to go stock up right now. All right? Sound good? Perfect. It says right here, for the year ending in July, overall health insurance costs fell nearly 30%, even as the cost of prescription drugs and other medical supplies jumped. Why the disconnect? Experts say, and here we go, hospitals and other healthcare providers have been dealing with elevated prices all along, but those price increases didn't immediately seep through to the health insurance because of financial contracts are typically negotiated every few years. There you go. The reason why we've seen this drop is because these new contracts are now being negotiated and prices are about to jump. Now, private insurance prices are finally catching up. After seeing overall inflation rates often in the 7 to 9% range, a 6.5% price increase may not sound so bad. But again, you're paying that much in insurance, you're paying that much in food. I mean, it's just added over and over and over. But health insurance plans are extremely expensive on average. They cost about $14,600 per employee, according to the Wall Street or to the Journal, the Wall Street Journal. The projected increase could add almost $1,000 to that total. The good news is that in theory, you won't have to foot the entire increase yourself. But the sad thing is there are a lot of people that do not have. Type 5, if you do not have insurance through your job, but you have to pay for it yourself. Let me know. I'm curious how many people are in here. There's a lot of people like that. So there's a lot of people with health insurance, but look at what the government's done to you. They sit there and they go, oh, you know what? Companies, you used to full-time was 40 hours and you provided, employment benefits like health insurance. Now it's 32, and then now it's 29. They keep lowering it, right? So what happens? Employers lay people off, or they give, for every one full-time job, they get 2 part-time employees, right? And then they don't have to pay insurance. And thank the government for that. Only creating more underemployed people, exacerbating this problem. The good news is that in theory, you won't have to foot the entire increase yourself. Again, we're only talking to a very small group of people. By and large, most Americans, people that live in this country and pay taxes, do not have a job that pays for their insurance. See the problem here? See how skewed this story is? But it's still important for you to know because it's a warning, right? Contracts are being renegotiated right now, and it's important for you to understand and prepare for this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I got to get back to work, and I got some shoes to go pick up. So I hope you guys have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.